See, there's only certain things that I allow the mundane people get away with because they're not aware of certain powers and principalities. But when you step into this realm of spirituality and you claim to be a witch, psychic, spellcaster, tarot reader, or anything with energetic or spiritual definition, now you have some type of crown on you. And you are spiritually, ethically, and morally responsible for your own actions and energetic preparation. I want to use this video right now to break down something to you all because I feel like everyone has been affected by this. There's a lot that's going on in the current day and age, right? And primarily because, of course, most of us are in the Americas, and you are affected by the changes that must happen. See, I think that a lot of people are uncomfortable with changes, and I think that a lot of people are in fear of changes. But trust me when I tell you this, that all things are always for the greater good. And even going into a question that I was asked by one of my people, how do you know that someone or something is spiritually dead or spiritually slept or under some type of spell? And I think that through everyday action, including the usage of most of the content on TikTok, you are placed under some type of demonic spell. And I want you to understand that demonic spells are not saying that they are good or evil, but they are saying they are frequencies that disconnect you from your higher self. They are frequencies that disconnect you from your main purpose of why you're here. See, a lot of people did things, they had actions that they did years ago, 5, 10, 2, 1, it doesn't matter how many years ago. And they had a purpose for that. And then something came in and tested whether or not they were really true to that path. And all of a sudden, all these ideas about what they wanted in life crumbled, right? And it didn't crumble because of circumstances. It crumbled because in their mind, they started to think differently. They started to react differently to things, knowing or unknowing, not knowing, that circumstances are always placed on you. Diamonds are created under pressure. But either way, going into, before I get too far off, spiritual spells, hexes, and being tied down of a energy, a manipura energy, some foretelling signs is one in particular. See, the government shutdown has been going on for some time, y'all. It's about to be a month. It's about to be a month. If it's not a month, it's past a month that there has been a government shutdown. People are still supporting businesses and people that are not getting paid, right? People are still doing things. You know, they said that, girl, the FBI, come on in here, the criminal justice system, the Department of Justice is under the government branch and they're not getting paid. So what type of protection do you think you have if these people at work are not being paid? You think they're going to be out here fulfilling their job? You think they're going to be out here really doing their work? I'm just saying, going even to like the flight attendant stuff, y'all, they're not getting paid. Aviation, they're not getting paid. People are still booking flights to go spend money and have fun. You think these flight attendants and these TSAs, you think they give a fuck about y'all going to go have fun and spending that money? I mean, these are just real genuine questions. I'm not going to do it. I'm not being somebody who is spiritually awakened, somebody who does cleansing and protection work, if not every day, as much as I possibly can, even thinking about being cleansed and broken away from the shackles that are put down on us. Hello? Because that's just how it is, right? I'm not out here about to book no damn plane ticket. I'm not out here about to do anything that deals with anybody who's not getting paid to fulfill their job. And that's how you know, one major is how you know that people are still asleep. People are still asleep. Everybody wanted to protest No King's Day. Everybody wanted to protest all this other bullshit that didn't go nowhere, didn't do a fuck ass thing. But the opportunities that you do have to fight and protest, you don't do it. Why are y'all still lined up at these airports? Why y'all still booking flights? Why y'all still crying about airports being shut down and stuff? It doesn't make sense to me. But like I said, it's your business, not mine, honey. I drink my water, take my vitamins, and I mind my business unless, of course, someone asked me a question, which this was a question, and I'm answered. That's how I know that the modern day world is under a spell. Going even into the sense of y'all, and I want y'all to hear this very loud and clear, okay? We know that society goes off the Greek or the Greco-Roman mythology, right? We know that a lot of our stuff is based on it, like days, months, seasons, holidays. They're based on this. A lot of people are so deep in the slumber. They'll talk about how they're so godly driven, they're so divine, they're so connected to spirit, and spirit showed them, and spirit this, and spirit that. But do you know that the Bible speaks about the spirit of fear multiple times in it? And the reason why the Bible speaks about the spirit of fear, terror, fear, and nightmare, these are triplets. These energies literally disarm you. These energies literally stops your spiritual protection, your spiritual weapons from doing the work that needs to be done. It also handicaps you on a physical, mental, and physical level, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And even going into the Greek mythology, Phobos and Deimos, these were two twin sons they were the sons of Eris, who was the god of war, and they were fear and terror. Okay. And of course they went into battle with their father, and they had to incite fear and terror, because these two things right here causes people's guards to be down. When you talk about what it looks like when your guard is lowered, that's what it looks like. In order for war to be successful, in order for war to be won, and we tell you this, spiritual power, spiritual thing is all warfare. You cannot claim to be a spiritual person. And I say this very respectful, y'all. I'm telling y'all, I know people that alleges that they're spiritualists, that they're psychics, that they're this and they're that. But when it comes down to, like, say, the real shit of them having their power and fighting, they don't want to do it. See, if I felt like I was ever put under some type of bound or some type of control of the government, I'll be in there working that energy 24/7, 7 days a week. Baby, I'll be so deep into a fast that you won't even recognize me as a person, because I have to make sure that the energies that is working against me is counteracted and defeated. Okay? And so people, like I said, live in fear and live in terror. And this is why these bad things are still able to happen. People can blame God. They can blame the ancestors. They can blame whatever. Oh, this is divine intervention. No, it's not. It's that you guys are in fear and you're in terror. And this is why those energies are winning. And this is why I say respectfully that those rules do not apply to me. You may think I'm cocky. You may think I'm incompetent. You may think I'm psychotic because, oh, girl, you live here. Oh, you're under that regime too. If they pass this, you're going to listen. But no law that I've been under has been passed. No law that I've been under that I was supposed to be submitted by has conquered me. Can we talk about it? Anything that we could talk about, anything that relates to me, Madam Merkaba, Mystic Persia, any law that's been put into place to stop me in my motherfucking track has not been passed. Can we talk about it? And so when you speak about moving in the highest order, is knowing yourself, as I mentioned before. A spiritual favor is not about you being a Christian. It's not about you being a Catholic. And I think that's where the humans get it wrong. You practice your practices for your salvation, for your salvation. Salvation means to heal and to soothe over. This is why you practice those things. You don't practice those things to get to know God and to tell me about the aspect that you learned about God as if I don't know God. You got me fucked up. And that goes for anybody out there to be like, well, I'm a Catholic, I'm a Christian, and God don't condone this. How you know that? You talk to God himself? God told you that? You have word with God? God sit down and say, hey, well, you're in prayer and meditation about your healing and your fulfilling and your supper. I'm going to tell you about Madam Merkaba. And I want you to tell that person, that thing, that they going to hell. Like, God really told you this? Or who told you this? Because, see, there's an indoctrination that starts from when you first exit out that womb. See what I mean? And so you fall under this manipulation, you fall underneath this spell, and y'all are saying, I don't practice witchcraft, I don't believe in witchcraft, but you do. You do. You do. You're innocent casualty. And so when you start to tap in to the real God, and I got something for y'all too, for those out there who be claiming that they be Christians and stuff, and they be trying to come. Thank God I've not got into a real tussle. I just came across some bullshit and I wanted to address the bullshit. But thank God I haven't got into a real tussle, because baby, that'll be the day that God himself will show up to show out. Hello? See, you can sit here all day and go scripture for scripture. We go into belief into belief. But when you ask for the Holy Spirit to manifest and show up, the Holy Spirit will show up and manifest. A lot of you don't live by that. A lot of you will sit here saying, even going into my spiritual people, you will say you're connected to these deities, but yet you run. See, you're not going to have me to flee my country. You're not going to have me to flee my home. You're not going to have me to flee my motherfucking land that my ancestors fought on. You're not going to do it. It may have worked in the past, but in 2025, it's not going to motherfucking happen. And I mean that. And so when you speak from a place of conviction and you speak from a place of authority and power, bitch, it has to happen. And so, like I said, a lot of you Christians, you lack that. A lot of you spirituals, you lack that. And of course, you're leading other weak people. You're leading these weak ass people into their demise. Oh yeah, I wish I could do that too. Oh, she's so smart. She fled the country. And I already told y'all about that too, because people like to ask about that. What do you think about this person, that person? Somebody owed taxes and left the country because they didn't want to pay the taxes. That's what I think about. Someone who left the country because they committed a crime and they didn't want to get caught up in that. That's what I think about that spiritual person. Somebody who helped human traffic people, and that's what happened. Hello, human traffic people, and that's what happened. They're part of the human trafficking situation, and they get on motherfucking camera and be like, yo, what's up? And that's how people be like, damn, they be giving off some rough energy. Yeah, they're madam. They're madam. They have to be rough. They be bitch, get over here. Girl, on women and children. And that's why every day, a lot of black women, a lot of black children go missing, and they don't find them. And there's stories even about people going missing from the South that they found over there on the East Coast. Remember, even back in the day, y'all, what was it called? The Nerubian cult, where you had missing children over there in Atlanta, Athens to be exact, I believe. And they had a cult over there with pyramids and stuff. Y'all think that shit ended? Y'all think this shit ended with Dr. York and those cults and shit, 11-year-olds popping up pregnant? But y'all heard talk about that white folks be into incest and white folks be into doing weird shit with kids. Girl, you had 11-year-old black kids pregnant and stuff. Makes sense. And this is less than 30 years ago, 40 years ago. But nobody want to speak on that because you're under a spell. You rather sit back and talk about fearful things and anxious things than to talk about what you're going to do about it. And that's what I told one of my sisters today. The new cycle of me, when people start getting like they're in a fearful state or a complaining state about things not being right, my response is, what you going to do about it? My response is going to be, what you going to do about it? Because you ain't going to do shit about it and sit back and shut the fuck up. Because you're not inciting the spirit of fear in me. Those are spells. Those are incantations. Those are invocations of energy. When an energy manifests and it's presented through media and it's presented through presentation, right? And then you start to absorb that, and then you want to repeat, I heard something about this, that, and it's like, okay, well, I also could have got the news, but clearly that's off my radar. Because one thing about me, two things for sure, when I'm in spirit, I tell my spirits, keep away shit that does not concern me or is going to help me in my evolution. Now, something that I wanted to point out that I think is actually quite scary. There's a name that I've not heard in a long time. Because people ask me, well, what are the spirits of, what are the demon spirits? What are the reigns, the rankings? And see, that's one thing about me. I can say, baby, whatever you want to call me, however you want to call me, one of the things that God gave me, one of my divine gifts, is the spirit of discernment and the spirit of knowledge. When I want to know something, it comes to me, it's revealed to me. Okay? And so something that came to me years ago, because I was like, where do a lot of these black names come from, right? And of course, some of these black names are like Tamika, you know, Ika. Any Ika is usually like an Irish, it's a German, or it's a Polynesian name. By the way, if you don't know now, you know, you can do your research on this, right? Ika, Shamika, anything like that. Tamika, Nanika, you know, they'll think, oh God, it's the ghetto as black name, when it's really not. It's Irish, German, Gaelic, or it's going to be Polynesian. Okay. And so either way, Tanisha is another name, a good example that just came up. But I was wanting to know about the name like Ebony and the name like Imani. And Ebony, you know, spirit is like, you know, Ebony, you know, is a certain dialect, is one of the dying languages, you know, that came up so many years ago, and they start breaking stuff down. And I even thought about, you know, after this was revealed to me that, oh, okay, so Ebonics and stuff, right? And somebody said this is black. Well, we know that black is or it's negro, you know, it's in, right? And in many languages, black is in, right? Even when they say Nubian, right? But somehow, some way, people got in their dialogue that ebony is black, right? Ebony, right? And if you really want to be crazy, Ivone, okay, or Ivoni. Can we talk about it in the words of Carol G? Ivoni, Ivoni Bonito. Can we talk about it? Anyway, so Imani popped up, right? And I'm like, oh my God. I've only met a few people with this name, but the ones I met with this name were like very, like up in your face, like they wanted to fight you. Like, girl, they were pretty. I was like, they're all pretty, but they're also destructive. And that's when it was revealed to me that Imani, and you can spell this many, many ways, but Imani is actually a name given to a spirit of fear that terrorizes people to a point to where they're afraid to move. And what happens is it instills fear in them through thoughts. It instills fear in them through apprehension. It instills fear into them through despair and worrying, to where they will worry so much to where they lose sleep. They're worried so much that they're like, okay, my only means of comfort is running to the problem. Meaning they're anxious, they're worried. Instead of them saying, let me turn off my TV, let me turn off this, let me turn off, they're like, ooh, let me go check on it, because I gotta see. As I mentioned earlier about being in the closet and there's a monster outside it, and you're either gonna get out and fight the monster, someone in the environment is gonna get out and fight the monster, or they're gonna get the fuck out the closet and they're gonna run. When somebody who is mind controlled or under some type of spell, they're in the closet and they're looking through the door, and instead of just, like I said, finding a solution, they just want to be in the closet and just keep looking. Oh, the monster's out there. Oh, the monster. Okay, he's out there. What you gonna do? And so that is the spirit of Imani. Imani. And of course, languages and tongues kind of gives you exactly what it is, right? Imani. Imani. And this could also be the root of why people think that money, because it kind of sounds like the Imani. They think it's the root of all evil. And there's a secret behind it too, which we'll talk about that one day. But I just found that very interesting that, going into someone asking about, how do you know if you're spellbound? How do people know they're spellbound? Well, I mean, you would know that, but even going into the sense of the news, what is your response to the news? What is your response to anything? When you get news about something, do you just get in fearful mode or do you get into survival mode? Like things are about to get crazy. Let me start preparing myself so I can be prepared. Or is it, oh, I'm just gonna keep saying things are getting crazy? Bitch, it's fight or flight. It's fight or flight. Um, and so even like I said, going into scripture, there's so many scriptures out there. There's so many things out there of not being afraid, not being in fear. And I do believe that not everybody believe in the Bible, but most people are aware of the Bible. They have access to the Bible. And of course, if you go into certain scriptures, it talks about it. And what I love about the book of Isaiah, and we talked about this before, the book of Isaiah is connected to a lot of metaphysical, mystical energies, right? In the book of Isaiah, it talks about no weapon forming against me shall prosper. In the book of Isaiah, it speaks about people being born in the spirit of something, people being made for the spirit of something, people seeking something for the kingdom of God, right? But also in the book of Isaiah, it speaks about fear. Because when you're at war, because it says that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. So you're already in a warring state. You're already in a state of conquering a battle. And we don't battle to lose, y'all. We battle to win. People in their right mind, people who are spiritually enticed, people that are spiritually driven, people who have the spirit in them, you don't fight in a battle to lose. You fight in a battle to win. And so the book of Isaiah speaks about Isaiah 41, verse 10. It says, do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. Do you know that there's a peace of God in you? Do you know that there's a peace of God in you? Do you know that the spirit that keeps you alive and keep you moving is a piece of God? Do you know that the energy, the body that's moving right now, the ears that you're hearing with, is only active energetically because it's God in there? Do you know that? Do you realize that? Have you forgot that? Do you not care? Do you not want to understand that? And so when you are in a state of fear, that energy dies, that energy closes off. And it kind of reminds me of stress, right? Stress is a killer. Stress leads to a whole bunch of issues, y'all. You can look this up scientifically, what stress does to the body. Okay. And so worrying and fear and anxiety creates a stressful environment. It creates a stressful response. The body releases certain enzymes, certain energies, certain hormones, because it thinks that it's about the fight, and it's in a state of fighting, right? And that's just how it is. And so when you are understanding that you have God within you, well, you're understanding, and we're not talking about Jehovah Jireh. We're not talking about Nissan. We're not talking about Rafi. We're not talking about Adonai. If you don't believe in that, we're not talking about that. But if you have a soul, because see, this is where we start breaking down the soul is from the soul, honey. If the soul gets the information, but it doesn't comprehend, it doesn't apply the knowledge to their life because they don't know they're part of a program. The people with a soul, you receive information, and through the heart and through the brain and through the ears and through the eyes, it starts to be transformed. It starts to be transmuted, and it goes where it needs to go, whether you consciously accept it or you unconsciously accept it. And so you start moving differently, walking differently, and talking differently because you got the information. And you don't have to physically apply what you got informationally to you, whether it was through a word, whether it's through a sound, whether it's through a vision, but you'll notice you'll start acting a certain way, right? And that's just how it is. And so that's how it is when it comes to people who are soulless, soul, or soulless. Soulless, the message is received, and they're like, whatever, I don't give a fuck. And girl, they got to keep going through shit. The soulful get the message, say, well, I really don't fully believe in that, but somehow, some way, something resonates with them, and it is applied. It is applied to their hardware. It is applied to their spiritual protection, and they now start to move differently. And maybe they don't think about it during the conscious state, but unconsciously something shows up to protect them. And they're like, well, I don't know where this came from. The information you received from someone or something. That's what it was. Okay. And so, like I said, you have God within you. Meditation is so important. Eating right is so important. And most importantly is surrounding yourself with people, places, and things that are conducive, that are coherent, that are about leveling you up, empowering you, keeping you in your kingdom and kingdomship. Y'all, that old shit is for the birds. It's gone. Being a victim, being weak, being a complainer, it's out the window. That's for the birds, y'all. It's for the birds. Something like really made me think, and this is still on the same topic about spellbound and being hexed and stuff. We had a fear years ago about FEMA camps. I think I first heard about FEMA camps when I was like 18 years old. And I had a real big fear of that, right? I was looking up all these videos of these containers and military trucks. And I stayed at Free Yard for almost 6 months. I remember I was so afraid. I was like, oh my God, is this it? Is this it? Oh my God, like the police, I was like, oh, they're ready to rally us up. Like I was so paranoid. And I just remember going into a state of paranoia. And I knew the only way to get out of this was like, oh, I need to like fast. I need to get out of doing what I'm doing. I need to get out of dealing with certain people, dealing with certain energies. And it came to me in this moment. That's when the spirit left. Was the only way that will physically manifest is if you all play the dumb role. If you all stay in the dumb cycle, if you all stay in the victim role, if you all don't educate yourself, because knowledge is power, that's when that's going to happen. And even right now in 2025, y'all, this was 2008. Even in 2025, I'm like, this is so true. The only way for them to pass martial law, in order for them to put people into FEMA camps, only for people to be rallied up, they have to weaken you spiritually and they have to weaken you psychologically. And the only way that's going to happen is through the means of TikTok. Why do you think Donald Trump allowed TikTok to stay around? Now, I don't want to be here to keep bashing TikTok, but I'm just being truthful here. So out of all the shit in the world, the man that fucked up everything else, but he said, oh, we're going to keep TikTok. Oh, we're going to come with an agreement. We're not going to do nothing to you guys on TikTok. Wait, what? There is something nefarious going on with that. And of course, like I said, the spiritually asleep, the spiritually dead, because a lot of people, I think, are so full, but I think they have experienced a spiritual death. I think something has numbed them, even outside of a spiritual manipulation or the government spellbound. Maybe their experiences in life numbed them up, but they're not there. You talk to them, you hear them talk, and it's just like ramble, damble, like blah, 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 blah. And every now and then you'll see a little something, you'll get a little glimpse of light, you'll feel a little, but it's like, ooh, something ain't right with this person. Okay. And so that's what it comes down to, is that you accepting and acknowledging. Let me plug this in before it dies on y'all again. I gave it 14% because see what we're about to do right now is, honey, before I finish this off, hold on. Did it come on? Yes, it did. Before I finish this off, cause see, come on in here. Let me get into this first. Hold on. When there's love, this time we're gonna break it down. I'm gonna be done. When there is love and confidence, which means knowing yourself, knowing thyself creates confidence, right? And assurance. Fear cannot reside in a place where there's confidence and love, as well as sanity. Because these three things keep out there. A lot of people are afraid of the unknown. A lot of people are afraid of things they do not understand and they don't know. So when there's an experience that comes up and you're like, I'm in a fearful state, I'm so afraid. Why am I so afraid? Ask yourself, why are you afraid? Why am I afraid of this? And that's one way of waking up out of this stuff. And that's one way of waking up out of it. And I feel like every time I talk about this, I feel like I'll be like, talking to only a few people. I feel like honestly, like a lot of people are not even gonna understand it. A lot of people ain't really gonna give a fuck because they're so deep in. And that's why I say like I'd rather stay in my lane and mind my business and only speak to my people because it's like, girl, if I know that somebody's, I mean, this is just an example. If I know that somebody doesn't like me, I don't have to keep looking up things to prove that they don't like me. I don't need a reassurance that they don't like me. I know they don't like me. So at this point, now I know that they don't like me, and just so happen, let's say they're a boss, let's say they're my landlord, they say they're my employer, and I have to still go clock in and out of this job. Two things I'm gonna either do. I'm either gonna pack my shit up and move the fuck out of that job, like don't fuck with that job anymore, or I'm gonna stay at that job and I'm gonna give this motherfucker a piece of my mind and they're gonna be living in hell. The same thing that they wanted me to feel, I'm gonna make them feel. Because see, power respects power. Power does not respect weakness. Okay. And so that's what it comes down to, is that a lot of people don't really care about being empowered. They don't care about educating themselves. If I'm concerned about anything that may have going back into the America thing or anything that's going, if I'm concerned about the political parties and their abilities to do anything to me, I'm going to educate myself on what it is that they're talking about doing. And I'm going to work with energies that deal with that. Because there's principles and rules and regulations to all things. And because I work with the spiritual, energetic stuff, that's the stuff I'm going to tap into. See, I don't have to be a mechanic to learn about the energies of mechanical workings. I don't have to be a flight attendant to know about the energies or the frequencies of aviary or aviation. I don't have to do that. Because I understand spirit and I'm opening to seeing what spiritual energies is behind what is going on. And this is how I get my confirmation in things. Can we talk about it? Like I said, I'm not, and I say this respectfully, I consider myself a Holy Spirit interpreter. And it's not a cocky thing. I like using that word versus saying psychic. Because of course, baby, I get information, and information I come through that I get is very important. Y'all, something came up, and it's a lot of stuff come up. But this in particular, I was telling someone that I know, I said, you know what? I feel like this time around, and I won't get into this, right? But I was like, I feel like this time around, this is what it is. And of course, you know, they were like, well, how do you know? And I was like, I don't know. They're like, well, you know, and I'm like, well, I really don't know, but I'm feeling, right? And then of course they got me in a state of fear where I was like, oh girl, it's going to be all this money. Oh my God, because I just did something like that. Oh my God, it was like almost 3,000, whatever. I was in a state of panic. But y'all, 3 weeks later, that's how long it took. And my mechanic tell me what the problem was. I was head on with the problem. And this is why I'm learning and I'm teaching myself, and I'm encouraging you all to do the same. Stop putting people in your business that can't do nothing about it. Stop putting people in your financial business, health business, living business, any business that they cannot help with. If they're not contributing to that payment, if they're not putting in whatever, they're not helping anyway, stop putting them in that business, because that type of energy could block and fuck some shit up. And I'm glad I'm so secured, and I'm glad I'm so confident in my beliefs and what I do, that I don't live in a panic state. So even going into this person, other people, I know they were in this panic state, like, oh, it's been too long. What's going on? The mechanic confirmed with me what it was. And I was like, I knew it. And like I said, not to be cocky, but I knew it because of the energies. It has nothing to do with me being a mechanic. It has nothing to do with me looking up how cars work and function. It's about me tapping in, because cars, like all things, have an energy to them. And I'm going to feel what this energy is. What is this? What is going on? Is it time for me to give up this car and get another car? Like that? That's how I work. Other people don't work like that. So you could live in a state of panic and fear, but I know how I work. I know how I maneuver. I know how I move through things without being in a state of fear or anxiety. And as I tell people, I love people and I respect people, but I think it's good to do it from a distance. I think that when it comes to, you know, and this is more importantly when you're dating somebody, when someone is in your, you know, private space all the time, you have to be in the same frequency. Because there's too many if there's two different types of energies going on here, there's gonna be a lot of clashing, a lot of, just a lot of shit. And like I said, I don't need my anxiety triggered. I don't need, okay. So that's where I'm at with that. Learning the energies and the spirits behind what is that you're afraid of. And if you don't know why you're afraid, I don't really know why I'm afraid. That's how you know that there's something spiritual going on, for sure. If you don't have an explanation for your fear, that's how you know there's something spiritually going on. Okay? And like I said, there's a lot of scriptures on fear and getting over fear and not living in fear. Okay? There's a lot of scriptures on it. Okay? Even going into Philippians 4, verse 6 to 7. And this is a scripture that one of my friends, we actually ended our friendship on. Y'all, I'm having a flashback because we ended our friendship on this scripture. Yeah, this motherfucker tied me and I put this scripture right up there and this motherfucker again. But anyway, Philippians 4, 6 and 7 said, do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your heart and your minds in Christ Jesus. So this is saying the only way to have a peace of mind is to give all your worries to your higher self, to understand that all things happen for a reason in a particular way. Hold on, honey, because Sister Mary Claire, she thinks she gonna be doing a little something tonight. Hold on, honey. Hold on. I gotta get a little. Hold on. I gotta get a little beat together. Sister Mary Claire thinks she gonna, bitch. Okay. Whew. Yo, that looked like a fucking tarantula spider, girl. Crawling up this motherfucker while I'm talking. Praise God. Anyway, so putting all your worry and stuff on God and understanding, having a peace of mind that your higher stuff is going to work all things out, because you're always in a space, if you believe, of safety. You're always in a safe space. If you believe this, it also goes into saying too that having that peace of mind allow things to work out for the greater good for you, versus being in that state of I'm afraid, I'm anxious. Y'all, when I tell y'all, there was so much tea going on when I was always in this state of anxious and worrying, and oh my God, y'all, headaches. There was just a lot. Okay, and so stepping up y'all spiritual shit. Okay, and of course, this is not a video to really go into how to get past all that, because baby, y'all gonna do what y'all want to do. Okay, and we just pointed out the main question was, how do you know what is a spiritual hex or a spiritual attack, or someone who's having control over you, a controlling and commanding spell over you? The government do it every day. And it goes both ways as well. It goes either people being in a state of fear or people being in a state of, I got to fight all the time. Because a lot of people will tell you this too. The ones who be like stealing and defrauding and doing all this criminal activity, they would say they feel like they deserve what they stole. They feel like it was owed to them. They felt some type of way, and they couldn't explain to you outside of that of why they did that fuck shit. Because baby, you feel like the government owe you, but then you commit the crime, and then you just end up being under deeper control of the government. Make that make sense? And even going into this, and I'm gonna wrap this up. Britney Spears. Something came up, y'all. When they were talking about that Britney Spears is passed on, and all this other stuff, y'all, and I'm just thinking to myself like, girl, let Britney be. Let Britney be. And I stand on what I stand on then when they were talking about her conservatorship, and I'm going to stand on what I stand on now. There's a lot of children in the system right now because their parents could not take care of them or their parents didn't want to. Why are we not fighting that? Why are we not fighting over parental figures that laid down to have children? Why are we not fighting over them to take care of their damn kids? And better yet, some of them are not in this system. Some of these people are single parents. You got single dads up there and single moms up there. Why are we not out here pushing for these mothers to be in a child's life or these fathers to be in a children's life? Instead, we're worrying about this celebrity shit. And it's even crazy, y'all, when these are grown-ass people. These are not 15, 16-year-old people worrying about Britney Spears. These are like 30-plus-year-old people. And these are the same ones that ain't got no damn job, sleeping on their mama and daddy couch, being a bum, and or got their kids taken away. Like, girl, you worrying about Britney, what she got going on. What about your life? And so what somebody was talking about was that Britney has been deceased and they might be using AI videos to pretend like they're Britney. And y'all, and I mean this, what I'm about to say right now. The entertainment industry is filled with performers. It's filled with people who can channel. A great actor is somebody who can channel very well. And when I say channel, that means tune into different frequencies very well. And not saying that these actors get Emmys and awards on that, because that's a whole nother level of rituals. But when it comes down to being a performer, they break you down like the military does. The military, whether people go on tour or not, the military will cause a everyday person get PTSD. Whether they are in battle or they just go through the training, okay, what they call boot camp. It will fuck you up psychologically if you're mentally weak. Okay? And so the same thing with the entertainment industry, that's what it does. That's why people who want to be entertained and I want to be famous, I want to be this, I don't think they're wrapped too tight. And that's my honest opinion. I don't think anybody who wants to be famous, I mean, they want to be famous. Not you just got thrown in it, but you wanted to be famous. Oh, this is a way to take care of my family and shit. What? I mean, you could do anything else to take care of your family, girl, but okay. They're not wrapped too tight because the industry has always been corrupted. And so with that being said, Britney Spears herself has had a mental breakdown that caused her to go into conservatorship. And they were speaking about how her having a MK Ultra, she had a fragmented, and it's for a lot of y'all too. That's how we said bipolar, and all this other stuff is a common thing because people be in and out of energies and don't even be knowing it. People be having episodes and they're not even aware of the episodes. People will have these personas that they're intelligent, and then when it comes to the wrong shit, and then when it comes to the right shit, they act dumb. And it's like, but if you have all this smarts, then why are you not using the smarts to A, B, C, D, E, F, G? But because it's the fragmented personality that's showing up. So going into Britney Spears, they were trying to show these videos of her, you know, having this interview. And of course I tapped in because I was like, bitch, is Britney really dead? And they covering it up and blah, 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 blah. And Spirit said, no, bitch, she's alive and we're not going to say well to the extent to where she has mental stability. Mama's still on medication. Mama's still under a psych, and it's all alleged to proven otherwise. Mama is still under a mental evaluation regularly. She still goes through that. But Mama has fragmented personality. She has different personalities. And so, of course, when you're interviewing different personalities, because they're not aware of each other, DID, dissociative personality disorder, hello, it's the real thing. Hello. It's a real thing. Hello. Dissociative personality disorder. Hello. It's a real thing. Dissociative identity disorder. It's a real thing. Hello. And we're not talking about somebody who was born a man who thinks he's a woman. That's not the same thing. Okay, get it together. There are people out here that knows who and what they are, but they have different personalities. They have different energies. They don't say, oh, I must be possessed by this God or this creature. So this is why there's interviews of Britney Spears being interviewed and they're asked, what is your favorite food? And she's here as her normal self. Hi, I'm 44-year-old Britney, and my favorite food is pizza. And then you have her when she's under her psychosis, maybe she's stressed out. You know, who knows? I feel like there's 5 different personalities that Britney Spears have. You know, like I said, I'm tapping in. 5 different energies there. I think she has 2 male energies and 3 female energies. And so it depends on who is showing up that day during the interview. They're going to say something totally different. So of course, I love steak. Ooh, steak is so good. And then the other personality, I hate steak. Steak makes me want to throw up. It gives me nauseated. Oh my God, it fucks up my system so bad. Then she has a country accent. Y'all, my name is Britney Spears. And then she has this, oh yeah, hi, I'm Britney. I'm here to celebrate. I'm from California. Yeah, Agora Hills. You know, that type of thing, honey. Yeah. That's a fragmented personality. They have her live on video, y'all, years ago, having a breakup. Mama started getting emotional and she snapped out of it. You know who else I think is also in that energy? Toni Braxton. And I love Toni Braxton, but I have to speak about it because it came up right now. Respectfully, all things proven, all things are alleged to proven others. I think Toni Braxton is also under that energy. There's different personalities there, and they're forced to tame these personalities because it will not look good for the brand. And Britney, of course, is a young woman who's been through a lot of abuse that caused a lot of that fragment to be split up. She was the breadwinner. She was forced to do a lot of things that she did not really want to do, and it caused certain energies to show up. Now, if I had to go and say who would be responsible for the illnesses that Britney has been through, her mom and dad. Because the sister was almost in that, all alleged or proven otherwise. Allegedly, the sister was also under that. Allegedly, the sister had a baby by one of these producers who's a known pedophile. Allegedly. At a very young age. She didn't get pregnant allegedly by somebody her own age. She got pregnant by a man that was in his 40s and she was a teenager. So if it happened to her, you don't think it happened to Britney? Could you imagine how many alleged abortions Britney Spears was forced to have? Do you not know that when your lower body is damaged, when your lower body is mutilated? Because see, this is something that people don't want to talk about because they want to focus on niggas in wigs. They want to focus on homosexuals. They want to focus on lesbians and stuff. They don't want to focus on matters that really matter, right? They don't want to focus on how there's a lot of deadbeat ass dads out there because that's a heterosexual problem. They want to focus on how mutilating your organs, having ABOs and stuff fucks up your cells within your uterus, which then also send a signal to your brain because that is your woman, it's such your womanhood, and it fucks you up. That is a whole nother world. Could you imagine going through a lot, let's say even one abortion, but could you imagine having multiple abortions between the age of 16 to 32? Multiple abortions on a stretch of 16 years. Could you imagine what that does to your psyche? Could you imagine walking in and seeing shit, witnessing shit, and forced to shut the fuck up? See, that whole thing about protecting your house, witnessing things within your household, and don't you go out and talk about it. And now you got to create this alter ego, this fake ass energy. Oh, I seen daddy sucker punch mom. I walked in on dad having sex with another man and I was told to shut the fuck up. And so, oh my God. And so now, well, oh no, I'm fine. No, dad. Oh no, dad is far. Oh, mom and dad love each other. Oh yeah, they do. Oh yeah, mom is such a good mom. Girl, see, this is how this all starts. This is how this all starts. And also going into a lot of other people, y'all, and I just pointed that out because I said Toni came out, but there's other people, even like Paris Hilton, that has other energies that come up as well, that have fragmented personalities that were created to either protect themselves or to allow them to go through these processes like sexual assault. They were abused so badly that they have to become a whole nother energy to protect them, to go numb during these experiences and or to protect themselves so they do not become traumatized about this shit. So to say that Britney Spears is no longer here and she's dead, she's been that. When she had her first experience of abuse that killed her, she's been that. This whole thing about I do astrology, somebody came and said they do astrological forensic astrology. Remember, I could tell you there's something I was like, girl, this is something, something. We had a little private conversation about it. Forensic astrology, right? I think that everything aligns up the way it should align. And I feel like numbers, times, date, these all happen for a reason. Of course, people use forensic astrology to solve cases. I use astrology, forensic astrology, to confirm what it is that I'm tapping into, and to also really tap into the energy and say, this is what it is, this is what it ain't. So Britney Spears is definitely on this planet still, functioning. Functioning at her best, no. This woman has a fragmented personality disorder, and it's still popped wide open. So this is why, even going into the type of man, that's another thing too. Looking at these men, all these men that she alleged dated, these are all different types of men. I don't know if this is something that has been public. I don't know if this is something that is publicly out there, but Britney Spears have dated some black men. Britney Spears have dated, allegedly, some black men. I'm seeing one in particular who is a bodyguard. And this is an industry known person as well. But like I said, all these men that are public with her, none of them are the same. I mean, girl, she was dating a prince, right? Was it a prince or a model? Then she's dating Kevin Federline, right? And it's not in that order, chronological order, but it's like, these are two different people. You got to get a white boy and you got a preserved Arabic man. Like, girl, what? Like, girl, listen. We have a type, girl. We're not just open to all types of men. Oh, I dated this man in my 20s and I started dating this one in my 30s. But who is the real one? These are fragmented personalities. These are fragmented personalities. And you know she's in her right mind because her hair is combed. You know she's in her right mind because she's presenting herself well. When she's not in her right mind, mama's getting on camera looking any type of way she want to look. When she's not in her right mind, mama cams up, mama goes do her thing and you know, look like her extensions is coming out. But it's her. There's no AI footage of that and this and that and that and that and this and that. And another thing too, I want to tell this too, because they were talking about veneers and stuff and flappers. You know there's something called flappers. Flappers is when you know, they're like dentures, right? That you can put on, they're like caps on your teeth. You don't have to get your teeth thought down to get those flappers done, baby. You just pop them in your mouth. They're like pop-on veneers. Brittany has used those, like a lot of people have. Brittany has used those. So of course the teeth is going to look different. What would be the purpose of them having somebody pretend like they're Britney Spears for y'all's sake? This person doesn't make and sell albums right now. This person is not touring the world right now. This person's not signing books and selling out tours and records and shit right now. Why do they need to lie? What contract do they owe the public about keeping Britney alive? But like I said, when you're so concerned about shit that does not concern you, we have a problem. We be digging up other shit. We be so concerned about shit that doesn't even matter, but we don't want to question those or do the things or question things that actually matter. Why are there so many kids in the system? Why are there so many kids that be out and about and they don't be watched? I can talk about this that happened 2 days ago. I'm sitting here watching in the store. I'm in the parking lot in the store and I'm on the phone and I'm talking because I was like, well, I got to go in the store. I got to go get stuff. But before I get it, let me be on the phone with my system. I'm talking and I'm looking over and there's this couple, you know, biracial couple. And they're just like talking. The dad has like his phone out loud. Like this is some type of music. And they have this little girl and she's on the other side of the store entrance playing with these pumpkins. Just playing with these pumpkins, y'all, right? And yeah, Halloween been over, but they still got pumpkins and shit out at some of these stores. And so she's playing. And the mom and dad, they're just talking, y'all. They're just having a good time. And I'm like, who is this little kid with? Who is this girl with? This little girl's out here. So I was like, what the fuck? I was about to literally go inside the store and say, hey, there's a little girl out there playing by herself. And somebody needs to see where her parents is at. And y'all, when I got out my car, that's when I saw the little girl run over to her parents. and the dad is talking to her, and then they all walk inside the store. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, but why would this, like, listen, call it paranoia, call it what you want to call it. My kids are not leaving out of my sight. Same thing with my animals. When I leave, I keep my dogs at home. And if somebody is, visiting or whatever, even when my kids are there with them, I'm still thinking about them. Like, ooh, they better not do nothing to my kid, or they better not do nothing to my dog. And that's what I'm thinking. So it's like, my children will not leave my sight. I will not be out in public and my kid is just running freely. And y'all just happen like going to Costco, going to Sam's Club, going to Target. You just see all these kids running around. You're like, what the fuck are the parents at? And the parents just be like, it's like, girl, you need your ass whooped. And the minute your kid go missing, you up here, oh my God, where my baby at? And you acting crazy. All these people giving you fake ass comfort. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Y'all don't want me in the business. Y'all don't want me to be an anchor. Y'all don't want me to be an investigator. Because, baby, I'm going to call it how it is. I'm like, bitch, you're stupid. You're stupid, honey. You're stupid. I'm not victim. I'm just saying you're stupid. Because if you would have kept your eye, like, because that'd be another thing, too. But seriously, some of y'all don't let your man out of sight. Y'all watch y'all man so good. But you let your kids out your sight? That doesn't make sense to me. And we're not talking about your kids going to your moms and all that, because clearly you trust your mom and that. We're talking about you out and about in public. The main concern is being out in public and your child is just running free around the store. And you're not concerned about somebody just grabbing them. And no, we're okay. We're in public. Somebody will get it. No, girl, I'm going to watch my kids for me. Because, baby, if I see you even grab my kid the wrong way, you might just get cleared out off this planet. Hello? I'm sorry to say it like that, but I'm real. So it's really for me to protect my sanity and to protect my freedom. But this is the concern for me. It's like I said, why are grown people that should be worrying about their financial budget, that should be worrying about their financial freedom, that should be worrying about their debt, that should be worrying about their health, that should be worrying about their children, their household, their man? The man that's not getting no attention, so he's online watching Puna, or he's over here hitting on somebody else. But you're over here wondering about where's Brittany? Oh yeah, and that's how we thinking too. They've been saying that 50% of the shit online don't be real. But I'm like, I want to know out of all the comments, the ones that are real though, what percentage of them is under some type of fragmented personality too, where they're so concerned about the Cardi B's, they're so concerned about who's this and who's that. When it's like, girl, that's the last thing you should be concerned with. The last thing you should be concerned with is meeting with Cardi B. The last thing you should be concerned with is meeting with Megan Thee Stallion. Like, I know somebody, girl, who sleeps on the floor, who sleeps on the floor of their parents' home with 7 people in that house. And instead of them saving up that money to get their own place, being grown as fuck, they worrying about Cardi B. I'm going to go do a meet and greet with Cardi and then get online fighting with people who don't like Cardi. Like, bitch, get a life. Grow up. You under some type of spell, bitch. Grow up. You paid how much money to go see Cardi B? Bitch, that's a down payment for your apartment. Grow up. All that time you spending on looking, you could be making some money, getting some money, babe. Wake up. People sitting back on TikTok and shit and other platforms. Yeah, Brittany, she's not real. Y'all don't know Brittany in real life, girl. Shut up. Y'all don't know her. Shut up. Meanwhile, your kids are missing. Meanwhile, your mom and daddy missing. Meanwhile, your husband's nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, you think your husband's gonna go clock in, he's going to go see the next bitch. And you're on there being a online investigator. Britney Spears. Oh, y'all, it's not real. Britney Spears, it's not really her. It's Jamie Lynn pretending to be her. Oh, it's an AI. Oh, y'all, she's going through a psychosis. So are you. So are you. So are you. Honey, you're not, like I said, you're not going to sit here and tell me that you're mentally stable and you're well and you're constantly in panic mode. You're not going to sit here and tell me that you're mentally well and you're stable and you're worried about celebrities' lives more than you're worried about your own. And the gag of all these celebrities don't give a fuck about you. And that's the real gag. Britney don't care about y'all. And that's the gag of it all. I wish I would be on the internet worrying about where is Wendy, and I love me some Auntie Wendy, but I know that she's in a good space. I know that regardless of what's going to go down, her protection is high. I know that. I know that. I know that. I don't got to you're not going to have me no investigation worrying about Auntie Wendy, and yet I can't keep tabs on my own mama. You're not going to have me worrying about where is Wendy, and I can't find my man. Hello? You're not going to have me sitting here fighting about what is going on politically, but yet my own things that I have control over, I can't seem to keep intact. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. Britney Spears is live. I'm not going to say well, because she's definitely suffering with some type of mental issue. And she's been battling this for a very long time. And it's why she was under conservatorship. And of course, people who were playing in y'all face came out and free Britney. Free Britney. Some of y'all need to be under conservatorship too. Some of y'all can't seem to manage your life and shit neither. So you worrying about what Britney got going on, girl. Worry about your own shit, your own household, your own baby daddy or lack thereof. Worry about your own shit. And like I said, people be in certain situations. I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. I don't know how I'm going to get my bills together. But you be the first ones on TikTok shit looking up stuff. Oh, I have to see this video. No, bitch, you have to worry about your security and your stability. That's the issue. Your stability and your security. Are you secure? I would never sit here and argue with a man or a woman who ain't got their shit together. Won't do it. A man or woman, they better sit down and look up celebrity drama and shit that they have no control over than to actually say, you know what? I'm giving myself a year to A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now, a lot of people had a long time. Bitch, don't even get me into going into that. So I'm like, honey, there's no sympathy for psychosis, or especially when people act like they know it all. Bitch, you know it all, then bitch, what the fuck are we really here for? Why are we having a sympathy party? If you're such a bad bitch and you're such a goddess, or you're such a king, or you're such a strong man and shit, then what are we really doing here then? Because you should be able to get your own and keep your own and be that boss, if that's the case. If you're so knowing and you know so much, then think yourself out of this. And if you can't, then I advise you to shut the fuck up and sit back. And let those who know what they're doing to do their work. Because y'all also dampering spiritual work. Y'all don't know what type of spiritual work is done to keep people protected and keep things going. All y'all is just a part of the fucking issue and not the solution. And of course, I'm not talking to the, where it apply it. Where it doesn't apply, let it fly. But, I'm going to go check this out and see what they're talking about. So what you going to do about it? Because people are making money off of you being in your panic mode while you're trying to make that money, while you're trying to survive financially. People are coming up with agendas and schemes and scams to get ahead while you're still behind. And instead of using the knowledge and the hands to research, how can I get a job? How can I keep a job? How can I this and how can I that? You're looking up shit that you have no control over. The government shutdown is here. Donald Trump might be this and that. Something happened, and of course I got to bring this up. One of my sisters was talking about Prop 50 in the state of California, and they were like, yeah, it may not be passing though. And I was like, oh, here we go. I was like, honestly, like, girl, here we go. And of course, 50 was approved. But I was like, this is why you got to sit back, because you don't know what work was set up. You don't know what workings is being done to make things happen. And if you're feel like you're powerless, or I can't handle this energy by myself, then you do energy on what you got to do and to protect you, regardless of what get passed, you're still going to be good. And that's how that works. But I knew, and I know that 50 was going to be passed, bitch. And that's why, and I said it too. I said, oh, when I'm starting to see all these people like Arnold Schwarzenegger and all these other people come out and be like, no on 50 and shit, I was like, oh, girl, it's a game. It's a game, honey. Girl, people can fall for that bullshit they want to. It's a game. I'm not. I'm awake. So I encourage y'all for the next few months and weeks. We have 6 weeks left of the month, of the year, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Do some spiritual work on your protection, your peace of mind, and your financial blessing. Hello. Do some work on your spiritual protection, peace of mind, and financial blessings. This is what you should be focusing on the last quarter of the year. Stop focusing on, well, I need to see what's going on. But you have no control over that. And of course, once again, if that's what you want to do, huddle up and stay over there. Okay. Bitch, listen, I'm not that girl. I tell people I will talk about many things to people, but one thing, two things for sure I will not talk about is political stuff because I don't feel like I have, the same opinion when it comes to political things. When it, with the people I know, so honey, I don't talk about politics to people like that. No shade. I may throw up a little 1-2-1-2, but I keep it pushing. Spirituality, religion, same thing, girl. Unless you're really trying to have a good debate and you can actually prove to me that you've had many, many spiritual practices. You just didn't grow up a Buddhist or you just wasn't a Christian. I'm not about to sit here and have a spiritual conversation about shit with you neither. Honey, there's no spiritual debate. So that's it, honey. Okay, let me see what's up in here. I've seen anybody up in here now. I gotta go. Come on, Larry. Hey, Larry, I was thinking about you the other day, Larry. Hope you're well, Larry. Yes, honey. Hope you're well. Greetings, greetings, greetings. We are great, Larry. Hope you're great as well. Grand rising. Yes, I'm never sleeping, Larry. Just stop by to say I'm at work. Thank you. Thank you so much, Larry, for that. I really appreciate that. Later, Gator, and after Wild Crocodile. It's good to see that you're still alive and well. And of course, I'm not saying that because I expect you not to be alive. But it's good to see you, Larry. I thought about you the other day, honestly. Two people popped up on my thing. And I was wondering how Larry Tarjay is doing. And Tarjay is a little inside joke. You know. But anyway, y'all, let me go, honey. It is now 2 or 3 a.m. Yes, honey, I'm up. I'm awake. I need to actually take my ass to bed, though. Honey, I took a nap. I took a nap around 3:30, and I believe I woke up at 7:32 p.m. So, y'all, I took like a 4-hour nap, okay? But I am going to force myself to go to bed. I'm probably going to take some magnesium right now, some magnesium glycinate to completely relax me, and that'll probably make me doze off. And then, of course, put my rain sounds on. But yes, honey, y'all take it easy, honey. It's good chatting and good seeing y'all. For those who, was in here, that is in here. I only see one Larry. Shout out to Larry. Who you doing? But yeah, everybody else, honey, I'll see y'all again very, very soon, okay? Love and light, love and truth. And of course, bye for now.